Today on the podcast, we're talking about unified sports. This is a high school program run through the Special Olympics that takes students with and without disabilities and puts them together on the same team playing a variety of sports. I interviewed Haylee Whiteley. She's the unified sports coach at my local high school, and she is passionate about this topic. She shares on this episode how unified sports works, the way it truly has transformed their entire school community. And she even shares ideas for how anyone can get it started in their own high school or in their own community. As I said, Haylee is passionate about this. I just felt energized and invigorated after talking with her about unified sports, and to see and feel truly inspired on how this program can create a culture of social inclusion in our high schools and in our communities as a whole. Welcome to the Do Something More podcast, the show all about service where we highlight the helpers who inspire us all to do something more. If you're passionate about nonprofits or looking for simple ways to volunteer and give back to the causes that matter to you, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Melissa Draper. Stick around and I'll show you all the many ways anyone can truly make a difference in our world today. Today I have on the podcast Haylee Whiteley. She is the unified sports coach at Salem Hills High School and also teaches special ed. And today on this episode, that is what we're talking about, is unified sports. It's a program done through the Special Olympics. If you're familiar with that, they provide sports opportunities for people with intellectual disabilities. But the cool thing about unified sports is it promotes social inclusion by having shared experiences for all those participants. So those with disabilities and also their peers there at the high school. But I'm going to let Haylee get into it a little more of explaining and introducing herself. So Haylee, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you. This is new for me. So much fun. My name is Haylee Whiteley. I've been a special education teacher here at Salem Hills for 5 years, and we started Unified. This is our 4th year of doing Unified. Background, I'm a mom. I have 4 kids, oldest being 19 and my youngest being 13. We live in Mona with 2 goats, 2 dogs, just a nice quiet life out there. But as far as Unified goes, so just the basic, I don't know if you got the synopsis or the general. Unified is a Special Olympics program that brings students with and without disabilities together on the same team. So it's about inclusion, shared experiences where everyone gets to belong, compete, and to be seen as equals, which is what everyone wants, right? They want to be seen like everyone else with no differences or anything like that. And so it just started with a belief that playing together breaks down barriers faster than talking about inclusion ever could. And I believe that is 100% true.
Yeah, I love that thought, that actually getting in there and building those friendships and working together obviously does break down those barriers a lot
Absolutely.
faster. So how do you go about recruiting? What is the process there for both students?
It's kind of interesting because it's so different than regular sports, right? How they work. When we first began, it literally was just like we grabbed some peer tutors, we grabbed the athletes. So a peer tutor or a student without intellectual disabilities was what we call an athlete, or sorry, a partner. And
Okay.
then anyone with an intellectual disability, we call an athlete. But really, they play together as one. That's just a good way of distincting between the two. Yeah, it started really small. We just really wanted to see what it would do, how it would react, and we didn't know where it would go. Within that first time we played soccer, I absolutely fell in love. I fell in love with the atmosphere, the culture, the environment. Everyone cheers for everyone. There's none of that like, we hate this team. No, it's like they're best friends, but they're still competitive at the same time. And it just creates a community. And then now it's come to the point where I'm literally like almost turning away partners that are not even peer tutors ever, like how we began. It is now like every single different student you could think of is coming saying, hey, I want to be on that team. I want to participate, where, that's a bad problem to have, is to have too many partners.
Absolutely.
And it's just, they they get real friendships from this. It's not just, oh, see you in the season and we'll be friends later next season when we play soccer again together. It literally has not just become like a classroom support friendship, it's literally a family. We're not just a
Mm.
team, it's a family. And it's so awesome to see it in the school itself, in the environment when I'm walking in the halls. It's like they are hanging out with people, they are getting invited things, they're being way more inclusive. And it's funny because back in the day, I don't know how you were, but back when I went to high school, I felt like that really wasn't something people explored. Like, they had their classroom off in the corner. We were, and I don't know if that was any fault to anyone. It's just how it
Right.
was. It was
Yeah.
like a scary thing because you didn't know, and I hate that
What to
that's how it
say
was.
or what to do.
Yes, like, you're almost like,
Yeah.
"Oh, don't go over there," like, you need to leave them be when it's the total opposite. I have literally seen students that are nonverbal, for the most part, they're like, "Oh, they don't do much," or da da, and they are shooting baskets, they are participating in sports, they're doing so much more, and they're capable of so much. They're capable of doing the exact same things we can do, but maybe just a few modifications physical-wise. And they want that. They want that relationship. They see what it is being on a team. They see all that fun that they think it is, but they wanna be a part of that, and that's what this is. So, sorry, I could go on forever about it
Oh,
because I'm super passionate, but it's changed my life in the past 5 years, and those that have come into it, parents, community members that have actually come and witnessed it, they now also it's changed their lives. They come just because it gives you that sense of happiness. People that are down, they come and they actually I'll have a parent that's crying just because she's had a bad day, and watching unified sports has actually lifted their spirit. So it's for everyone, and it's amazing.
I love that you mentioned soccer because our team just won state,
Yes.
and I know that was exciting when they came back on those buses. That was quite the experience for everyone.
It was so fun, and we have 3 teams right currently, and they all go by ability level. So, like, I have my Navy team is what we call it, is my competitive team. I mean, you really can't tell the difference between a partner and athlete and how they play with their athleticism. They match each other equally. Then you have the player development, which is those that understand basics of soccer, but are gonna need more instruction or more support on telling them, "Oh, kick the
Where
ball,"
to
or
go
defend,
or
a
what to
little bit
do.
of more help. And then we
Mhm.
have what we call the recreational league, and that's the students that need more, like, maybe a handhold, a partner to handhold them to help them get in that direction, maybe a wheelchair, maybe something where they can't do it all on their own. So I have those 3 different levels, and my 2 white and gold, they actually made it to region, they both won state, which for soccer, it's a first for us. We've never won state with soccer, so it was super, super exciting. And that's what the fun thing about the whole thing is, even though my Navy team, they got second at region and they only
Uh,
take first to go to state, didn't win, they still came to state, they still supported. It's still all, even though they're individual teams, it feels like one huge family. And that's the main and I think most important thing for everyone to see is that it's more than just a game. It goes way beyond that.
yeah, I love that you explained those 3 or the different kind of that the teams are organized according to where everyone is at,
Right.
and then you just add in your partners where they're needed on those different
Yeah.
teams. So, that must be interesting with when you're training or having practices. How do those go? Like, what does that look like?
Well, luckily this year, well, kind of last year, but we've been working with the Utah State Board and we're getting a unified PE. Well, we have one. We're still figuring all the kinks, but that's been huge because really practice was sometimes before a game, sometimes if I could gather them all, it's hard when there wasn't a designated. Now there's actually we have a unified PE course with a gym teacher and myself, and we work on those skills plus other motor ability skills, and we've
Mm,
made it to where anyone can be in that class and get a PE credit, but it is more geared towards, being on a team, playing with Unified, learning how to be able to adapt to those students and be able to meet their needs. And that's has
right.
been the main part. And sometimes they get a little off kilter trying to rein in everyone at once, but that's what the peer tutors and they're so good without even being asked, they go and they'll help the students that maybe aren't so mind focused on practicing soccer, and they'll do other things with them to still keep them active and busy. So that's just great. And it has taken a few years to get there to understand that. And what I love is now it's passing on down. So it's not like a new thing I have to restart every year. It's
Mhm.
these students are taking that and they help me. So they become the teachers, they become the instructors, which is what I love about it.
That sounds totally like a team effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've mentioned soccer. What are the other sports that you do there at Salem Hills?
So the 3 main that high schools do with Special Olympics, at least here in Utah, are soccer's first, then basketball, and then track and field. And they've added in this year, well, they have a lot more, which we're gonna try more this year. They
Oh,
have a unified dance
wow.
where it's
That
just a
sounds
recital
great.
we get to go to, but, I mean, who wouldn't wanna go watch a dance recital with unified? Come
Mhm.
on.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna try that. I mean, we'll see how it goes. And then we also are doing flag football, which is right gonna kinda be along with track season because track's more of a singular, it's not as, like, a unified sport because it's, individual. We're adding flag football in, so those that really want that team type of sport will get to play those, and it's just so much fun, but there's esports, there's so many things we can do. There's even swim, and I do have 2 athletes that are on the swim team, and so I'm not as much, like, incorporated as that, but the swim coach is really good, and he has worked with those 2, so whenever there's a unified event that they can sign up for, they sign up for that specific event and are able to go against other people with the same ability, so there's a lot.
Yeah, your coaching duties are year round, it
Yes,
sounds like.
it's a second job.
For sure. Well, you've already given us an idea of the positive impact this has had on students and the school community, but we also love to hear one on one or individual stories on the podcast. So, do you have any of those that you could share
Oh
of
gosh.
the effect you've seen it either have on your students with disabilities or their partners or parents or the school community? Really, anything that you want to share.
Well, just the school community as a whole, I've seen where people are more empathetic. I've seen
Mhm.
students who, sometimes they're all about, like, looks or, like, you know, what people see. Now that this has become more of a school engagement culture, they are cognizant of these students and of inclusion, and it is crazy. Like, you wouldn't think in a school of 1,500 you'd see a difference, but there is literally a difference. Now when we come down our hall, which, we have the self-contained classroom, my unit, all those, like, it's no longer just avoid, walk past, go up the stairs, like, I have lots of kids coming in my room all the time, coming in the other room, and they just wanna talk and hang out and see those kids and have them go with them to get a drink, at lunch, like, it's amazing to see that culture and how it kinda spreads
Mhm.
all around, and to me, that's the most amazing thing, and each year, it gets more wide, more known, and I get more questions, and it's just amazing to see that with time and effort, it does grow, and you do see huge things. As far as myself, I guess I'll just get a recent one. So we were able to go
Mhm.
at state, some of us, the athletic director, the principal, myself, another coach, and then what I have is I have an athlete and I have a partner that represent student council. So they are on student council, which I think has been a whole other thing as well. Because then in everything student council plans, there is always our advocates there that are making sure it is planned for everyone that can possibly come, which
I
I
love
think I
that.
would advocate that for every high school to have 2 on student council because that has made a huge difference in having their voice heard, number 1, but also just a reminder that, hey, we need to think about everyone, not just, the populace.
Right.
So we got to go to this board meeting, I don't know what it was, but it was
Mhm.
before the state tournament, and it was the first lady. I didn't realize there'd be so many big wigs there, like CEO of Walmart. I think it's kind of where they talk about donation like fundraising, that kind of thing, or getting
Mhm.
sponsors.
Right.
And so we were on a panel where the first lady asked us these series of questions. There was a few things they asked us, like, what is the one word that you would describe unified as? And I said, heart. If you have a hardened heart, it will soften your heart. It will
Mm.
enlarge your heart. Your heart will do amazing things that you never thought was possible when you include yourself into this and when it becomes recognized. But my favorite thing is our athlete representative, Cole Bamford. The first lady asked him a question and she said, "What is your favorite thing about Unified?" And he goes, "Coach Whiteley." And
Mhm. Sweet.
to me, that was amazing like I probably teared up right there and I would probably tear up right now. Just to know that everything I'm doing, like I see the impact, but to actually know that these athletes, because he can say anything and he does all the time. He'll say defense because we work a lot on defense. But for in that moment, for him to say Coach Wiley, it really just is that culminating circle. Like, yes, what I'm doing, what I'm seeing, what these kids are doing, what these kids are, I mean, just pushing these boundaries of what people think should or what they could do. It's amazing. And it's just like, if you haven't been to a unified or don't even know what it is, I mean, I will tell you, come to one of our things because once you leave, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why isn't this everywhere? Why aren't more people doing this? Because that's how amazing it is. And I think our world needs that.
Yeah, I know our First Lady, Abby Cox, has kinda championed that here in Utah, but it is in other states and spreading to other areas.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, what is the best way if someone, wherever they live, wants to find out if their high school's doing it, just to ask the high school if they have a unified sports
Yeah.
program?
So as far as like Nebo School, when I first started, I think Spanish Fork years ago had done track once, but then I don't know if someone left, it kind of fizzled. And so when I got here, we were that first year having to travel all the way to Salt Lake because all those counties up in Salt Lake, they all have unified.
Mm,
They've had, I think, sponsors like, hey, as long as you have a unified team at each high school, we'll sponsor you. So they've done a lot of stuff in order to have that. But so I started small. I
mhm,
might, my kids go to Juab High School and I knew everyone from Juab. So I went over there and we got Juab a team started. And then once Juab got started, I have been able so far been able to get Spanish Fork, Payson, gosh, how many other schools do we have? Maple Mountain, Springville.
mhm.
They all now have unified teams. That's only helped us from having to travel far to even do anything. Now we're able to like have practices and even like now like we're going to throw a big unified Halloween party
I
just
love
because it's fun and why not? So the biggest thing I would say is you can always contact Special Olympics because every Special Olympics, ours is SOUT.org, Special Olympics Utah. Every state has one and they have representatives for everything, for secondary, for middle school, for junior high. So you can contact them and they'll be able to tell you if you do. But you can also just go ask your principal or your AD. And if they say, what's unified? Pull it up there. I'm sure there's a million YouTube clips
Well, you can
of what
send them this
unified is.
podcast
Yes.
episode, right?
Yes.
With the biggest cheerleader we have for it
Yes,
right here.
absolutely.
That's great. Yeah, so you have not only made a difference in our school community, but really here all in South Utah County. That's amazing how you've been able to spread it to all those different schools.
It is pretty awesome.
You've touched on this a little bit, but what is the difference you've seen with the high school students? And what is the biggest why for them as well, for your partners there? Do you have any stories or things? How have
Yeah,
you seen that affect those kids?
I think at first, just like with how I was in high school, when you don't know, you're kind of afraid of something of the unknown, right? And
Mhm.
so I am a loud and proud person. I am very vocal. I am very in your face type of, and so I think that probably helps a lot because I break that zone of
You just bring
uncomfortableness.
everybody in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. And I at first before we had the council, I would like push things in and be like, well, why can't we do this or why can't we do this just so we could be seen? But I've noticed that these peer tutors, when we started with just peer tutors, obviously they either had usually a family member that had disabilities, and so they were comfortable
They were
with being a peer
familiar with it.
and all
Yeah.
that, and so I was really big on I would have those peer tutors get their groups of friends, and we'd personally do things where if their friends were in my room, I would bring in the athletes just to hang out and just to be like and once you kind of break that ice,
Mhm.
all of a sudden you see and it's like I said, I now have part of students, regular students, some I've never even met before are coming to me in my room. "Wait, how can I join Unified? When can I do this? Like, when can I be a part of this?" And to have that instead of the first year, we're searching, will anyone do this? Like, because no one knows what it is a whole flip. Like, I almost am turning away people. In fact, our club now are those that like aren't going to play the sports but want to be involved. Like, that's how, and that's another good way to do it because to have a club
That's a great
is
idea.
those that maybe don't want to play or don't feel comfortable playing but they wanna be there to support and do all the activities. we made a unified club that just correlates with everything. So when we have a game away, they're all invited to come on the bus and be fans in the stands. Like, it's a big thing. Another big thing is we worked really hard where we became a champion school, and you have to do so many things, so many whole school engagement opportunities. And I'll announce it on here because it'll be announced soon enough.
Great.
We just got our national banner school, which was a lot of work. We had to do so many things. It's a long application process, but you have to reapply every 3 years. But now we are accredited or known as a Olympics National Banner School for inclusive. And it's a big deal. Most people don't know about it, but those that do, it is a huge deal, and I'm super, super excited. We'll get to have a banner that gets to hang in the high school, and just like they do the banners. I don't know if you've been in the gym, you probably have, where you see all those banners we've already filled, I think, 3 banners full of all of our state titles, like anything in track that we've taken state in, basketball that we've taken state in. I keep
It's
telling
right
them
up
so
there with
many.
the rest
We
of
have so
them.
many trophies now. I'm like, we're gonna need our own trophy case, like all these high schoolers. But it's something to be proud of. Like, we are proud of it. We're super excited. And yes, I will advocate to the rooftops and fight for this, because not only has it been like me, I mean, I've seen other adults that now are joining, and teachers who maybe didn't spend so much time doing the outside activities, just teaching, are now asking, say, hey, if you ever need help, or if you ever want someone to coach or just be a body, like, we'll be there, because they see what it does. They see that friendship and that culture that it creates. And I just wish everyone could be in year 5 of it and see what it actually can become.
I know there is so much on teachers' plates, but it seems that you
Absolutely.
are energized by the work you are doing as well.
Yes, Unified is my happy place. It is what brings me joy. There's really nothing negative about it besides maybe having to wash all the uniforms afterward. But other than that, everything is just positive.
I love it. Well, we also do just general advice on this podcast. And so I just want to go a little bit that direction as we finish up here. Just general advice you would give. Obviously, you gave great advice for those that maybe want to get unified sports into their schools. But for those that are listening that maybe don't have high school kids or aren't as involved that way, and just with your position as being a special ed teacher as well, what ideas would you give to someone who wants to advocate or serve children with disabilities or help others get involved in the way that Unified Sports does? Just what general advice would you give for anyone listening?
A biggest thing for me was because I didn't live in Salem. I don't know everyone, how everyone else does. So it was really hard for me to, like, even know where to go, what to do, or anything. And so a lot of people, it was just by word of mouth, just asking around. But for those that maybe don't have it, I say your number one thing is contact Special Olympics, because Special
Mhm.
Olympics is in every state. So it's not like, oh, they don't do anything here. They do something in every single state. So if you're wanting to and they do not only just high school, I mean, it goes all the way up to like college level. It's like forever.
I volunteered with Special Olympics in college. It was a great
Yes.
experience.
When we got to go we got to go to the summer games. I forgot to say that. We got invited
Oh,
to the summer games, and we got to go to Special Olympics summer games. We got second in basketball. I mean, it was
it's great.
absolutely awesome. But a lot of it's word of mouth. Once that word of mouth starts going around, then I start to have people asking, maybe find that community member, because I know in school wise, they have like a community council that's like
Uh-huh.
a lot of maybe parents or a lot of like neighbors. And so I would say maybe if you don't have it, start there as far as word of mouth, because usually the ones that are on there are the ones that know everything about the community, or like in a million different things. Luckily, I had Jen Hughes, who's our track and field coach. She
Right.
told me the first few years with Unified, and she had such an in, because she's like service member of the year community, that
Mhm.
she had a
She
lot
does
of
a lot.
venues she could reach out and help before I could. So I just think find your people, but the biggest thing is contact Special Olympics if you don't have it, and then tell Special Olympics, say, "Hey, my high school or my junior high or whatever level you want doesn't have this. Is there a way?" And they have so many avenues of resources and everything. Like, they'll come and do a whole like presentation to your athletic department. And they have like the incentives too, like when you first start out, like they pay for your first set of uniforms. They
Nice.
help with things. They do a small stipend for like coaches through the year, just a little bit, to help. But they're a great avenue to start where, and they can even get you started. Maybe if it's not the high school that wants to, and it's just a community based thing, they also have the resources for that to get you started. And I know a lot of recreation here in Utah, like Salem Recreation, I know they do usually an adaptive basketball and adaptive soccer just as part of recreation. So maybe good to get with them, and maybe you can start coinciding, like when they practice or games, maybe bring the whole team or something like that. Like I don't know, there's so many things, there's so many aspects, but that would
Yeah,
be the
lots
biggest
lots of
thing.
good ways to get it into your community if
Yes,
that's the desire.
absolutely.
Well, Haley, this has just been an invigorating conversation for me to talk to you. I love feeling and hearing the passion that you have for what you do with Unified Sports, and just want to tell you, I am on the school community council for our
Yeah,
school.
see?
So I think I can say in behalf of many teachers and parents, thank you so much for the good work that you do. And I can see how it is truly making a difference for our community as a whole, for the school community, and for the students that you serve. Anything you want to add here before we end?
All I can say is really I'm the lucky one. I don't know where I would be right now or kind of life I would have if I would not have said yes to starting Unified. I did not realize what an effect it would have on me and others that I see, and it has only been positive. And so my thing out there is don't be afraid to say hi to students with or anyone with an intellectual disability, because really they want friendships, they want everything just like we do that don't have an intellectual disability, and they are capable of having that. And so just don't be afraid. Love them because they will love you 100%, faults or no faults. And I think they just want that in return, just that love and that empathy and that friendship. And so that's what I'm all about.
Great advice, great words to end the episode here today. Thank you so much, Haley.
Thank you.
That concludes my interview with Haylee Whiteley, the Unified Sports Coach at Salem Hills High School. And as you can see from that interview, she has done so much good, not only at the high school where she teaches, but for others in the community as well, helping to spread that awareness and excitement for unified sports in our entire area. I am so thankful for people like her in all of our schools who are helping so many of our kids in the good work and service that they give, and are helping our communities and our schools at large be the kind of places where our kids can grow and learn from these experiences. So that's one more encouragement I'm going to give you. Go tell someone in your school community thank you for all the good hard work that they do and the service they give. It truly makes a difference, and you could feel that from this episode, especially, I think. I'm also going to leave links to Unified Sports and other things that were mentioned in this episode, so you can go learn more if you're interested in that. And I would also like to encourage you, if you were inspired by this episode or you thought of someone who would love to hear about some of the things that were discussed here today, please share this episode with them. And I always, always appreciate 5-star ratings and good reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow the podcast on social media. I leave links to all of those in the show notes. And as always this week, I hope that you can find a way to do something more to help, lift, inspire, or make a difference.